Hi, I'm Dede Wilson. I want to show you my favorite way to make pie crust. It's a basic that you should definitely know how to make, and over the years I've used many techniques, and I'll show you the one that I keep coming back to again and again. You know, of course, pastry blender, you can do it by hand. That's how my grandmother used to. You just need a bowl and one of these and some elbow grease. But I have come to really like doing it in the food processor. I've done it by hand, I've done it in my mixer, and the reason why I like using the food processor with the metal blade is because the metal blade is so fast that it cuts the butter in so quickly that the butter doesn't have a time to warm up. And keeping the ingredients cold will help our pie crust stay really flaky. So we're gonna do a double crust. I think it always makes sense to make a double crust because you can always freeze and chill one of the crusts if you're making a single crust pie, and then you'll have another crust for another time. Or if you're making a double crust pie, of course, you need both crusts. So my recipe calls for 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm just going to whisk the flour up to aerate it a little bit in my airtight container. I've got a 2-cup measurer. I'm going to go in, dip, and sweep. And then the 2 cups is going to go right into the food processor. And then I need a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to use my 1/2 cup measurer, dip it in, and sweep. This gives me the 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour that I need. I have my 1/2 teaspoon of salt already measured out. I'm just going to buzz that around a little bit just to combine it. And now comes the butter. Now the same thing as far as technique is concerned, the same thing goes for the ingredients. Over the years I've used all butter, I've used part butter, part shortening. I've come back to an all butter pie crust as my standard go-to. So I have 2 sticks of butter, which is a cup, and I'm gonna put them in here. They're in tablespoon size pieces, and I'm just gonna put them all in there, and they're really chilled. They just came out of the refrigerator. I'm going to pulse this around. We're looking to break down the butter. You can take a peek. It's evenly broken down within the flour, or, you know, sometimes I can actually tell by the way it sounds. Now we need water. Now what I have here is ice water. You want the water to be as cold as possible. So what I do is I make some ice water, and then I'm just going to pour the water portion out. We don't need the ice cubes, of course. Now the thing about the water, I want between 4, 5, 6 tablespoons of water. The thing about the water is that the water can vary, and that's because your flour or even the ambient, the room could be moist or drier. So sometimes the recipe might use just 4 tablespoons, sometimes it might use 5. So we're just going to start with about 4 tablespoons, and it's starting to come together. And a little more. And it's just coming together. Do you see how the texture changed? Perfect. We don't want to add too much water. That is exactly what we want it to sound like and look like. So what I'm going to do now is put it out on my work surface. Get it all out. And I'm just going to bring it together with my hands. Here we go. Get all the little pieces. Now this is enough for 2 pie crusts, as I said, so you want to cut it in half. And I flatten it out into a disc because we are going to be rolling it out, and this is just going to give us a head start because once it's chilled, it's going to be very, very hard. I like to wrap it in plastic wrap several times, several layers. There we go. There's one. this is ready for my double crusted apple pie, or maybe I'll do 2 pumpkin pies. This has to chill in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours, or I usually do it the day before. It's always great to break up a recipe so that your time's used well. You could do this the night before, or you could stick this in the freezer for up to a month. If it is in the freezer, just take out the disc, put it in the refrigerator to defrost overnight, and then you're ready to roll out.